Hey everybody, how's it going? I have a quick book review for you today. I always say quick, but it's going to be a spoiler-free review, so don't worry about spoilers if you haven't read this. And it's the Pallbearers Club by Paul Tremblay. Okay, I reviewed another Paul Tremblay book on this channel, Disappearance at Devil's Rock. I did that a couple months ago. I just read this one. It's a great book. Okay, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the last one, and I just have a feeling this guy's style is for me. I think I probably am going to enjoy everything he's written. He has a very particular style that really works for me. So, a basic summarization of this book is it's a character named Art Barbera who's writing a memoir about his life growing up. And in this memoir, he meets this friend. And as he's meeting this friend, the book really just goes about, in a way, a memoir would have, him being young, a teenager in high school and going through things and then meeting this friend and kind of forming a club and working with this friend who's a little bit older than him. And as he meets this friend, I'm going to put this down. He starts to like learn some folklore stuff about the area from this friend and starts to get some peculiar thoughts in his head, like maybe this person is part of this folklore that they're talking about, and he kind of becomes obsessed on it. I don't want to give too much more away than that. You can probably speculate what that's about, but he starts kind of becoming obsessed with that idea. And the cool thing about this book is that in the margins of this book is red ink. All right, like notes written as you're reading, and stuff is crossed out, and there's like arrows drawn. It's like an edited manuscript, and the notes are from his friend. It's very cool, and they're often funny. And the thing is, you get character development from the main story and from the notes in the margin. They're not just there as like little character building pieces. There's like a legitimate amount of plot in these notes for you to extrapolate from. And you kind of have to do the work a little bit, but it's there. It's a very unique style of reading. I'm sure there's books that have been done like this before, but I like to see stuff like this. It's just a cool way to read. Let me show you what it looks like. Just quick stuff. It's not like it's going to spoil too much, but in my copy, it's written in red ink. It might be black and white in the paperback, but you get stuff like that. It's very well done too, from a graphic design standpoint. It's all really done well, and you learn more about the main plot. Excuse my hair. You learn more about the main plot from those notes in the margin. And from the notes in the margin, you learn some from the main plot. They kind of intertwine in a way. And as the book goes on, it gets even more crazy. Because a lot of what this character is saying in the margin is like, dude, you are misremembering everything. You're starting to make shit up. Like, you're fucking delusional. Like, it starts to get a little crazy. And it's such a good story because it's like it really mostly focuses on these two characters of, well, I don't want to say of Art Barbera and his friend, but it really just focuses on the two of them and their relationship and Art's kind of journey through life. And it's really like an intense character study in that way, but it also, I don't want to even tell you what the themes are, but it goes in really hard with these themes. It was a really interesting book in the way that it's done. Who's not going to like this, okay? I think that's enough to know if you're going to like this or not. It's typical Paul Tremblay stuff. It's really, like, it's very, the style reminds me of, I might as well just grab this novel for you. Disappearance at Devil's Rock. The style is totally Paul Tremblay. I can tell he has his own style. I like it. If you know his style, this is very similar. If you don't like his style, this will probably not win you over, probably even less so than some. But who won't like this, okay? If you're looking for a plot-based book, I don't think you'll like this. It moves real slow, and this is just the case with literary novels. Like, you look at the overarching book, like, what happened? Not a lot happened. That's boring. But then when you really dive in deep and look at the text, a lot is going on, right? And also, if you're looking for just a scare your pants off book, don't even bother. I would say, like, don't bother with this cat at all, because he writes, in my opinion, he doesn't even really write horror novels. He writes these like horror adjacent novels where there's like a horror novel buried in there somewhere, but it's mostly about other stuff. Like, this is not a straight up horror novel. There are some scary elements in here, but then there's times where these scary elements are followed by something funny or tongue-in-cheek, and you're not sure if you're supposed to take it seriously or not, and sometimes you are supposed to take it seriously. There's always a hint of ambiguity in these books, and that is always the name of the game with this author. He does ambiguity, much to people's chagrin. People really don't like that about him. I understand, I get it. I really like it. I dig it. I don't think that he writes in a way that's ambiguous where it's lazy, like, well, choose your own idea. I don't think that's the case. I think there's a touch of that in there, and that's always to be found with ambiguity, but I think that he lays things out pretty clearly. He just doesn't always tell you everything. So I just think that that's the case here. If you're looking for, like a non-literary, like a genre writing style book, this is not that. This is pretty literary. But as I've always said about this author, I find his prose to be very accessible. It's not like this is complicated to read or anything. There's just a lot going on and a lot to extrapolate from the text. So I really enjoyed this a lot. It was a touch dry at times, which I didn't really mind. I kind of like dry stuff, but it wasn't as thrilling as something as, like, say, this book. This was a very thrilling book while also very deep and a lot to think about. This just moved a little slower. It's also a very short novel. So is Devil's Rock, but I think this one is 275 pages in hardcover format. So it's a quite quick read. You'll read it in a couple days. But yeah, it's great. It came out in 2022, I think, so it's his most recent release. Yeah, I recommend it completely to those people I said. I don't think it's for everybody, but I really enjoyed it. I would give it a 4 out of 5. Sometimes it was a little too slow, almost like the ambiguity sort of, trying to keep quiet what it's really about was like drawn out a little bit sometimes. But I mean, overall, I don't have too many complaints with it. It's written well. It was interesting. I just really enjoyed it, and it's very meta in its writing as well. I guess I forgot to mention that, how yes, you have the whole writing in the margin and all that kind of stuff, but it often feels like a almost a joke in some ways about writing memoirs and picking fun at, like, people writing memoirs and, like, what does it mean to write a memoir and how much fiction can you put in there, and there's a lot of that going on too, which I always found really interesting and funny. So yeah, it's a clever book. This dude is awesome. Just a great author. I really like his stuff, and I recommend it to a lot of people. With that being said, what's my next book? Let me grab it for you. 3 books now. Okay. Nosferatu by Joe Hill. This is a hardcover. I was reading the paperback, and I'm kind of neurotic, and I just had to get the hardcover. I think I've showed this off before, but it's like a perfect used copy. Beautiful. So I'm looking forward to reading this. It's a big one. It's like, I don't know, 700-800 pages. It's big. But yeah, after that book, let's just do a little TBR right now. I'll be reading Devil's Creek by Todd Kiesling, which I've been wanting to read for a long time, but the publishing house that was publishing that book, I think, went out of business. I can't remember what publishing house it was, but it doesn't exist anymore. So it's being published by Cemetery Dance. You can get a ebook now of this book, Devil's Creek, if you want, on your Kindle or whatever. It's out, came out on the 10th. But the hardcover and paperback versions by Cemetery Dance, you can still get as well, but Cemetery Dance takes an eternity to ship things. The book came out on the 10th. I still don't have it. Who knows when I'll get it. But yeah, that's that. That's what I've been reading lately. I hope you're all doing well. Take care. Have a great day. Let me know what you've been reading lately, if you've read any good books. All right, peace out. Have a great day.